I think it's working now. We're gonna pretend that I'm not here. Oop. Hey friends, how's it going? Today, I'm doing something a little bit different, a little chill. Today, I'm taking chat on a date. I have flowers. They're completely fake, so... Hello, how's it going? I hope you're all having a good day. We're pretending that we're here in a very fancy establishment. It is not my bedroom floor. What are we talking about? I almost got a sign that's to stick there saying fancy establishment. But yeah. Also, I tried to find a wine glass for this, but apparently we own none. So I have a mason jar. Right. What are we doing today? We're having an awkward first date. So, you know, we ask each other dumb questions. As you can tell, I haven't done that many of the dates. I'll tell you about it. One date I went on once. How long ago was it now? Like almost 5 years ago. I was freshly 16 and a boy asked me out and I was like, ooh, you know. So I was like, of course, let's do that. Anyway, getting off to a rough start in this story. But, we get to this date, right? And he buys himself a thing of chips. Doesn't offer to buy me them, but that's fine. And, he does, however, offer to share these chips. And, that'd be all well and good if he didn't eat his chips like a total maniac. And I'm not kidding when I say this guy ate his chips like a maniac. It's not me being picky. It's, he picked up a chip, bit it in half, put it back, picked up another one, bit it in half, put it back, ate half of all the chips, and then ate the other halves that he had bitten. And heck no, I don't want, like, your weird halves, man. Stop being a psycho. I've never told this, like, online before, so if the guy, ever manages to find what I'm doing currently, I am dragging you, I'm very sorry. But we did not go on another date after that. It was a very awkward date. Not a good time. I've been on a couple other dates, but, do you play sport or dance? I, do rock climbing, but I haven't done it in quite a while because pandemic stuff and the gym was closed for ages, and recently there hasn't been that many walls set up and I've just been busy. Like I always take a break at the end of the year anyway, so hopefully I'll get back into it next year, but currently no, but usually I do rock climbing. That sucks. That sucks. I almost had to stay an extra semester at uni because I missed one of my things, but I managed to get late entry into it, thank goodness, because of the curriculum changes. They had like stuff that was going to fully screw me over, but I luckily got into stuff and I'm done now. And so I just gotta apply for my master's soon, which should be good. Should be good. Yeah, so I'm basically just gonna be like answering a bunch of first date questions and doing. I'm not very good at the first date. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Another first date I went on was a huge another first date I went on was a huge mistake. It was dreadful. It was okay, so I silly went out with this guy. How old was I? I was like 18 and he was 25, 26 and worked in a bookstore. Big mistake. Way too old. But anyway, I went to the beach with this guy and we met his friends at the beach and they were asking all about me, and because obviously he was so much older than I was, they were like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm studying ancient history at uni. And they're like, oh, that's fun. Are you about to start your masters? I'm like, no, I'm about to start my undergrad. And it was a whole time. And then after that they were like, oh my goodness, a child. Which is fair. I was a child. So what do I like to do for fun? This is a thing I like to do for fun, but also I do a lot of making cosplay stuff. I also really enjoy playing the Switch. I do that a lot, probably more than I should, seeing as both of the Switches in our house belong to my brothers, and one of them kind of lives in my room half the time because I steal it that often. But I do enjoy doing that. What else? What else do I do? I enjoy playing board games a lot. I absolutely love board games. I have a little collection of them. In fact, I have actually, because I had my 21st party recently. I got this from one of my friends. So, well, two of my friends, but they're kind of like one. What do you guys do for fun, chat? Oh, Red Bull is slightly harder to drink when it's in a glass. Alright, so I have some classic first date questions locked up here. So we're gonna go with, ooh, you enjoy playing Halo, and nice. I've never played Halo myself, but you know, I'm always down to give new things a go. Alright, so the first date question we have here is, are you more of an indoors or an outdoors person? I definitely like the outside, but I'm more of an indoor person for sure, because I don't like getting burnt, and I get burnt very easily. If you can't already tell, I am pale as anything, so I go outside and boom, I'm burnt. It's disgusting. So I prefer staying indoors for sure. These questions are so boring. First dates are overrated, man. Alright, we're gonna go, where have you travelled? And as if I don't talk about this one enough, I have travelled mostly to America. I've travelled to so many states in America. I really want to go to Europe, but I haven't been there yet. But I love New York. Canada was really nice. I've been to like LA, Connecticut, all those spots up the top. San Francisco. I've been to like Utah, Arizona. Oh, gosh dang it. Another one, Nevada. Because I went to Vegas, and Vegas is the most disgusting place I've ever been to. I will never be going there again. I hated every second of it. I don't know, if you've ever been to Vegas, I don't get people who enjoy Vegas. It is such a grot hole. But, I mean, I get the appeal if you want to blow all your money away. But, I genuinely thought I was going to die. I was like, this is how it ends. I'm gonna get lung cancer because when we were in Vegas, we stayed at the Luxor because, you know, history nerd, obsessed with Egypt, you have to. And it's just constant fumes when you're in like a hotel from the casinos of like cigarettes and everything. It's so disgusting in Vegas. I hate it so much. Like, if you like Vegas, power to you, you do you, but I will never be going there again. That is the least favourite place I've travelled. Hate it. Disgusting. But I also have been to Hawaii a few times. I love that. Hawaii was great. Yeah. America a lot is basically what I'm saying. If you're in chat right now, tell me the favourite place that you've travelled. Why did the music stop? Oh, good. The Wi-Fi's struggling. I mean, the band at this very fancy establishment is not working. They're on strike. You'd visit Texas, the Lone Star State? Yeah. I've never been to Texas. I know a couple of people who live in Texas. But yes. Vegas is becoming increasingly residential. Interesting. Still wouldn't live there. I don't care how residential it is. I'm not going anywhere near it. Vegas can get itself far away from me. And like, what's that other place that is just like Vegas? I'm not even planning on ever going there. It's another place with casinos. Salt Lake City? No. I don't know. Don't care. Not going there. So it doesn't matter. Been to the Grand Canyon. What is insane? It's been a while. Yeah. Well, welcome to your first date in a while, man. Yeah. I was so surprised at the lack of safety measures at the Grand Canyon. But, like, granted it was in, like, 2012. I don't know if they've put, like, railings up since then. But you could, like, totally just run off the edge. There's nothing to stop you, man. weird music. Anyway. So there's that. Just... You're not going to Vegas? Well, yeah. Wouldn't suggest it. Places I would suggest. Now I've forgotten the name of it. Now I look stupid. Where did I go? Canada. Grouse Mountain at Grouse Mountain in Canada is so beautiful. They have bears, but we went in winter, so we couldn't actually see the bears. Although I've always wanted to see a bear. There's a stuffed one at uni, but it doesn't quite count. Like, I've always wanted to see a bear. There are, like, I have a bucket list of animals I want to see. It's like bears, dragonflies, and glowworms is another one. And technically, glowworms wouldn't be that hard to see. I just got to pop over to New Zealand, but like, with what money? Grouse Mountain, not Grass Mountain. Grouse Mountain. When we were there, we like ziplined over frozen lakes, and they had the most beautiful Christmas lights in the snow, and I went ice skating in the snow, which is a lot harder than you think because the snow gets all stuck to the ice, and then there's lots of bumps, and it's so easy to fall over, especially when you're not very used to ice skating. But it was a super cute experience. I loved it so much. In fact, one of my Christmas decorations, let me see if I can get it. I like painted a little grouse mountain for one of my Christmas decorations. I loved that. Grouse Mountain was my favourite part of Canada, and it was probably the only reason I'd go back to Vancouver again, because, like, it wasn't that bad. Vancouver's great, like, Canada's fine, but it did stink of pot a lot. And I think it's just because it was the city, but, like, pot had just been legalized there, and honestly, there were, like, 5 shops in a row just selling the, you know, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the W-E-E-D word on this, but, I don't know if it's settled down because we went, like, a month after it was legalized, so, but, yeah. You visited Montreal and Toronto. Nice. I think it'll be fun to visit some other places. I'd love to go, like, all around, but I think I need a bit of French. I'm not too good at languages, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. I did learn some ancient languages for uni, but how helpful that is like 0. I can read, like, I did ancient Greek for one of them, and so I can read modern Greek words. Do I know what they mean? No, but I can read them. Wow, so helpful. I know, it's great. Oh, another first date question we have here. How many siblings do you have? I have 3 little brothers. You've met one of them. The other 2 just straight up refuse to be on here. I'll get them on one day. I will. Even if I have to pay them. How many siblings do you have, chat? I'd guess. But that's impossible. I have a decently large family, so if I had to guess, I'd say somewhere below 4. Tomorrow, you're going to open the time capsule you buried as a kid. Can't wait to see how big my... Oh. Man, that is dark. That is very funny, but... You had me in the first half, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Okay, that is a good one. How many hairs do you have? 12. You have 2 older siblings. Nice. I hope they don't bully you, like we all do to my youngest sibling. We play these games. It's so bad. Okay. So when we're at the beach, we play this game. especially in winter, if we just want to walk along the beach. It won't work for too much longer because he's getting bigger, but we play a game called Youngest One Gets Wet, where my two larger brothers pick up Asher, the youngest one who you've seen on stream, and dunk him in the water. He gets so mad. And we make jokes about, like, when we're driving on the freeway, we're like, youngest one gets out. Youngest one gets out. Oh, I feel so sorry for him, but, you know, not that much. It's what being an older sibling's all about. You gotta whip him into shape, you know? I'm just kidding, Mum. I don't bully my sibling. You have an elder sister, but you were the bully? Makes sense. I'm the oldest, but my little brother bullies me all the time. All the time. I have, like, my brother who gets mad if I even say his name on stream. He is so good at knowing exactly what irritates people and exactly how to get on people's nerves. He pushes buttons and he knows exactly how to make you upset if he wants to. Ugh. The last guy I went on a date with, was actually this year. I know, guys. I took like a 3-year break in between the last few dates I had. Not that people didn't ask me out, but like, I'm not gonna go out with the random people that asked me out at uni. Like, there was one guy in uni who I'd never spoken to before, and he came up to me after class, said, "Hi, what's your name?" And I was like, "Matisse." And he said, "Do you want to go out with me?" First of all, I didn't even get your name, mate. Calm yourself. Calm yourself. So that's kind of how I've been asked out in the last few years, is just people after class at uni that I've never spoken to before. So I decided to try the online dating scene during quarantine. And you know, I'm single, so that's how it went. But it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. And I'm scared he's going to find this because it wasn't that long ago. But what are you going to do? Basically, I said I liked milkshakes. He was like, "Let's go out for milkshakes." And then he picked a place that had 0 milkshakes. Not a huge deal. Not a huge deal. We went out for about a month until he decided that I lived too far away. I lived 50 minutes away and we always met halfway. Now, as someone who lives rural, I understand that I live a long way from people. But as someone who has to travel at least half an hour everywhere I go, it's a weak excuse, man. Weak excuse. Just tell me I'm incredibly annoying and move on. Chat, tell me what's the worst date you've been on. I'm trying to find some other cute question. This is like the strangest stream I've done so far. And that's saying something. I thought yesterday was a strange stream. But this one, I am so calm. Usually I'm just yelling constantly. So this is an interesting change. I may get mad later. We'll have to see. You've never been on a date. What is this then? I'm taking my Twitch chat on a date, so every single one of you, if you've never been on a date, this is it. Ooh, that's an idea. So, I can try some pickup lines, right? So, you know, one of the most important things about a first date, right, is making sure that you secure that second date. So, you gotta be smooth. You gotta, you know, entice people. So you gotta get some good pickup lines. Do I know any off the top of my head? Absolutely not. But we're gonna try. Are you a pirate? 'Cause you're really hoisting my sails. Yep, I picked you up. Admit it. I'm sorry, guys. If this is your first date ever, I am extremely sorry. And if you're just joining and are completely confused, I am also sorry. Yeah, we can technically count the Twitch stream that you're talking about in person. Fair enough. But I mean, who knows if in-person dates are even gonna be, like, allowed for a little while. I mean, I know they're allowed. And technically, things are opening back up. So we're all good. It's gonna be fine. Ugh. Ooh. Okay, the next first date question that I have on this list of first date questions is, what's the best thing that has happened to you this month? I say, so far this month, apart from the fact that Christmas is coming up this month, which is obviously the best thing, would be, Saturday, I had my 21st, had a bunch of my closest friends over, and I got a cute number of presents. It is 4 days now until my actual birthday. I will have a birthday stream probably on the 21st, which is going to be exciting, but I have to have my actual, like, birthday party with people a little bit before my actual birthday, because being born 5 days before Christmas, while it's great because Christmas, obviously, no one can ever come to your party. Everyone's like, oh, I have a Christmas party, I have an event. But this year, I managed to almost get them all, because what are you gonna do? There's no parties, except for mine. But a cool thing I got was one of my friends got me this. So I am gonna have a lot of fun playing with that. As well as a bunch of other stuff. Oh, I also got my first pup, which is super cute. I got, Anna in her pajamas. And, I love her. She's so cute. And one of my friends, who knows me super well, got me, like, a big box of Red Bulls. Do I have an addiction? No, I can stop whenever I want. Ugh. What kind of a question is this? I'm sorry, but first date questions are dumb. What would your perfect morning be like? I'm sorry, but who asks stupid questions like that on their first date? If anyone sees this and is like, yeah, I've totally asked that question on a date I went on, go off. But also, who gives half a darn? Anyway, my perfect morning would be being asleep. You caught up with some friends you haven't seen since quarantine started? Nice! It's been an awfully long time since quarantine started. I know, like, some of my friends I, like, saw for the first time at my party, and it was like, I haven't seen you since last year. Nuts. What? Another dumb question, thanks to conversation starters, first date questions. What is the cutest animal versus the ugliest animal? That's disgusting. Ah, thanks Once Upon a Mum for the present on my TikTok chat. Cutest animal. Cutest animal? I don't know. And frankly, I don't give a darn. This question is dumb. But if I have to answer, it would be like a Samoyed dog. Very big, very fluffy. And border collie dogs, I suppose. Do I have a favorite animal? Not particularly. Yeah. But ugliest animal? Haha! That is one I can answer. Even though it's still a dumb question, and I still spit on this question list, I can't answer that one. The star-nosed mole. I hate it so much. It is disgusting. If we gathered them all in a massive pile and burnt them, I don't think bad things would happen, honestly. I don't think the environment would suffer all that much. They're just so disgusting. Why do they need little wiggly things on their noses? I know, because they can't see and they probably want to, like, feel things in the dark, but oh, they can go away. They're so disgusting. What mole? Oh, let me get up a picture on this laptop I have next to me. I hate moles. They're disgusting. Who... Oh, I'm already seeing one and I think, oh, they're foul. Absolutely disgusting. Should absolutely burn the moles. Okay, it's just loading. It's just loading. It's loading. Just these things. Do you know these things? Disgusting. Disgusting. Oh, I'm closing the window because honestly looking at them makes me want to die. Oh. If anyone. Thank you so much for the fire on your, on TikTok. That is really funny. My mum just said, sorry, my voice just decided to run away for a second there. My mum is on my TikTok stream right now because I'm double streaming on Twitch and TikTok. She said it's not awkward that I'm here at all. So yes, my mum is on our first date, but it's fine. She's just the chaperone. What intonation is that? Star-nosed mole. I hate it so much. Sometimes, when I'm in a dodgy mood, my brother will bring up the star-nosed mole. They just, yeah, it does look like someone kicked the head in. If I ever see a flipping star-nosed mole, it's on sight. It is on sight. That thing is dead. I will curb stomp that mole into the ground. I don't care. They are disgusting. They need to go away. What country are they in? I don't think we have moles here. I've got to look that up now because we better not have moles here. Okay, I'm going to look up star, nose, mole, country, I suppose. I don't know. Because if I find out that we have flipping star-nosed moles here, I'm moving. I'm going away. Native to eastern North America. Thank flipping goodness. Because just imagine that disgusting little nose Like waking up in the morning, having it like snuck into your house or something. I don't know if moles do that because we don't have them, but oh, those roses look like lettuce at first. Yes, they're quite dusty as well because they were under my bed because they're fake roses. So the lettuce roses are technically for chat, but you can't take them. You can't stand cassowaries, although you've never seen one. I've never seen one either, but they seem pretty rank. I won't go on a whole rant about how much I hate crickets again because I've already done that like twice before. But crickets are also flipping disgusting and need to perish, especially the mole crickets. Wow, look, we have a theme here. I hate moles. Yes, disgusting. But yeah. Hi, what am I drinking? This is Red Bull that I poured into a glass to look fancy. Could be urine, could be apple juice. That's true. Red Bull does have a very suspect colour. I poured it in and I was like, looks sus, but what can you do? I'll pay you the next one, cheers. Alright, enough with that dumb question. At least you made it look fancy, even though it could be urine. Look, it could. I could just have had an empty can here and been like, look at that. I definitely poured it in here. This isn't urine at all. Although I did pour it in on stream. So we have a teensy bit of proof, but still shaky evidence. So we'll see. We'll see. Who are your kind of people? I'm just straight up skipping that question. If you ever go to conversationstarters.com, tell them they can go poo in a river because their questions suck. And who would actually ask this kind of stuff on a date? Not flipping me, that's for sure. What's the silliest fear you have? Okay, we've already talked about fears, but I will actually answer this one. I have 3 fears, mostly. One of my fears is watching everyone I love die and not being able to do anything about it. Reasonable. Another fear is the ocean. It's very big, very deep, and very wet. My brothers actually will all gang up and try and drag me out into the water while I like scratch and try and claw myself away while my mum laughs in videos. But, you know, it goes great. I'm not scared of things in the water. You can like nip me with a shark, that's fine. But the water itself, spooky. Disgusting. Not a fan. The most asked question on a date. Probably. Honestly, probably. And my third fear, flipping crickets. I hate those things. They jump everywhere. They get into places. My littlest brother, he's not scared of crickets at all. And I don't understand it. There'll be a cricket in the room and he just like picks it up. If I went to pick up a cricket, it would jump and like all over you. Disgusting. And they're so crunchy and massive, but not as bad as cockroaches because okay, so I said I had 3 fears, but I actually have 4. One of my biggest fears ever, is bugs in my ear. As soon as I heard the cockroaches like living in human ears because it's warm and like moist in there, I wanted to die. Excuse me? And now ever since then, every time I hear like a mozzie fly past my ear or like a piece of my hair tickles me inside my ear, I freak out. Because you can't get the bug out and then you have to, if I ever find a bug in my ear, the whole head's got to go. I'm sorry, but That is why I'm scared of cockroaches. Not because they're disgusting and they squiggle around everywhere, but if a cockroach flipping flies upwards and into my ear, that's it. I'm gone. No. What's up? How are you today? What's up with you? I'm good. We're on a very cute date with Chad here. I'm doing good. Not as bad as yesterday. I wasn't as sad when I woke up. Because yesterday I almost cried. I was just tired. I had a horrible time. Today, still very tired, but less so. Plus I have a Red Bull. So, we're going okay. We're going okay. We're getting there. What is one of your biggest fears, chat? Let me know. I'll rate your fears, honestly. I'm sure you guys are laughing at me for my fears, like bugs in my ears. You had a cockroach on your head once? That is way too close to the ear area. Ooh. And if you think I'm putting it on, I am absolutely not. Oh, it is a genuine fear. That is funny. Funny comment, because my mother is technically here. I think she's on my TikTok stream though, so you know. Spicy. It's so much harder to drink stuff in a glass. Cans are great. Cans are great. Spanish question mark? Okay. People in my TikTok chat are asking if I speak Spanish. El pasporte. Spanish. You have a fear of dogs. Fair enough, fair enough. Probably makes as much sense of my fear of crickets. But you know. What odd talent do you have? Okay, that's not that bad of a question. I'll give conversation starters a pass on this one. Not that bad of a question. My oddest talent is being able to stand on my head really flipping well. I do it on paddle boards on the ocean. I have a few pictures. I don't think I put pictures on my Instagram of that, but every year I take pictures. Like, I did it in Hawaii as well. If there's a paddle board around, I'll probably stand on my head. I've always been super balanced. Back when I did dancing, I did one routine where I like spun on my head like you do, like hip hop people do. Like, I just went whoo on my head. So I guess I have a strong neck and really good balance. That is my odd talent. If you have a really odd talent, let me know. Because I would love to know what your odd talent is. If it's cooler than being able to stand on your head for a really long time, let me know, because thank you so much for following. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're enjoying this excellent date. That is terrifying. That is a terrifying thought. But what wrong assumptions do people make about you? Not a bad question. Not a bad question. Okay. Iffy. I skipped a couple to get there because, as we've established, these questions are flipping dumb. But, you know. You are cute. Thank you. What was it? Okay, what wrong assumptions do people make about you? I think people often assume stuff like I'm a classic, like, girly girl into lots of clothes and shoes, which is true, but the shoes that I'm most into are Converse and Vans and other forms of sneakers. I have 20 pairs of Converse, all in different colours. Like, I do the whole girly thing, but I also like playing games. I get excited when there's a sale on Steam and things. The Switch is super fun to play. You know, a lot of fun stuff. And cosplay's great, you know. How old am I? I am 20, but in 4 days, I'll be 21. So, you know, an adult everywhere. Woo! But I've been a legal adult here for a little while now. Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. Welcome to this excellent date here. Oh, here's a question. How have you changed from when you were in high school? Apart from having a slightly better haircut, because I looked back on pictures from when I was 18 recently and I was like, oh my. Oh my. I look exactly the same. Like, people still mistake me for like a 10th grader. People always ask what year I am in school. I look like a child. Apart from having better teeth and a better haircut, not much. Not much at all. Didn't want you to be under 18. You're only 12? Somehow I doubt that, but like, go off. 65% of everyone back in high school assumed that you're autistic. Which is not true. Well, yeah, you get out that rage, man. Rage is fine. You do that. I swear, that flipping possum. If you were here, yesterday's stream, you know that there's a possum living in my roof, and it is so annoying. Makes me want to rip out the walls and find it myself. I like your accent, thank you. I sometimes don't. When I rewatch my streams, I'm like, oh my goodness, that sound comes out of my mouth. But thank you. People assume that I'm younger than my age. All the time. For me, at least, as well. Back when I was, shoe dust, with my parents picking out a new laptop, the guy was like, oh, you need this for school? And I'm like, well, no, I finished my undergrad, I need it for my masters. Yes, I'm from Australia. Sydney, Australia, so East Coast. Still need to do the compass thing, because directions. Perth gang? Ooh, nice, nice. I've never been to Perth myself, but I know my dad has in business trips. I've been to quite a lot of places around Australia, but not Perth. So, you know, close. I think I've been to Western Australia. Just not that far into it. I've been quite the ways round, like, everywhere else. Because, not missing much. I don't know. I've met a few people from Perth, and I swear, everyone from Western Australia always goes off about how sucky Sydney is compared to Perth. They're always like, oh, it sucks here. So humid. Western Australia is so much better. So, you're like the first person that's been like, it's fine, I suppose. Not missing much. Just because they're jealous. I mean, it's pretty great here, so... Where would your friends or family be most surprised to find you? There are so many answers to that question. A meth lab? I don't know. What? Where would your friends or family be most surprised to find you? What kind of a dumb question is that? So many places. That's ridiculous. Sydney, Melbourne, Perth. Yeah, you know, Melbourne is actually really nice. I've been there. As far as cities go, it's a pretty nice city. It's pretty nice city. I don't quite like Sydney actual city very much. It's kind of grotty, and very hard to navigate. But it's fine, I guess. I usually, like, if something's in a city, I usually avoid it like the plague. But I go there when I have to. Reminds you of Seattle. I've never been to Seattle. I'll probably go one day because I go to America all the flipping time. So I'll probably end up going one day, but I haven't been there yet. There are so many boring questions on here. I'm sorry. I'm just skipping a bunch because conversation starters needs to up their game. How did you meet your best friend? I don't have one. I know, that's sad, but I have a lot of friends, but I don't have, like, a best friend. Everyone around me has a best friend. But you do? You do you? Alright, yeah. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine! What did you do last summer? Worried about bushfires and packed a getaway bag and then went to the beach. Because last summer was intense! If you're in Australia, you know, bushfires, and then straight after the bushfires, flood, and then straight after that, pandemic. It just got worse and worse, honestly. But, you know, now it's just gonna rain all summer this year because after there's been big fires, you have a wet one and you hope for the best, man. Where are we at? New Year's is gonna be a huge party this year. It's true. It's true. I reckon everyone's gonna celebrate so much that the year is over, but then they're gonna remember that it's not quite over. Like, I'm pumped for this year to be over, but just give me the flipping vaccine so I can get that mask off my face. I have nothing against masks, and you totally should wear masks. It's a good thing to do. But now it's summer. Oh, it is so hard to wear a mask. It gets so hot. So hot. And it seriously sucks. Plus, if you forget to eat breakfast in the morning and, like, just run outside with a mask on, morning breath mask is the worst thing. It's so bad. So bad. Last summer was a cruel summer. Yes. It's hard to breathe in masks. I don't find it hard to breathe. I just find it I don't know. I get to a point, like, about an hour after I've been wearing a mask where I'm like, I've just get it off my face, I've had enough. It's hot. I'm bothered. Just knock it off, I don't like it. If you knew you were gonna die in a year, what would you change about how you live? If I knew I was gonna die in a year, and, like, first of all, I would drop all my things. No point in working or doing uni. No issues there. I'd spend as much time with family and friends as possible, and as I got closer to the year ending, I would sell all of my things and, like, except for stuff that was important to my parents and whatever, but I would sell a lot of my stuff and try and give it to foundations like TIA, Operation Christmas Child, sponsoring a child, just, a bunch of good organizations that work with like people in poverty and building communities and stuff and providing healthcare to people who can't afford it. So I think if I had a year to live, that would be it. Spend time with friends and family and use all of my stuff for good, because if I'm dead, I'm not going to be using it. That's dark. It is dark. It's a little bit of a dark question. Do you guys have a plan? I mean, why would you? Because unless any of you are dying in a year. It is a bit of a dark question. I am sorry. You're going to Storyland next year. I'm not quite sure what that is. I don't know where that is. Is that kind of like Disneyland? I am not sure. What is the strangest phone conversation you've ever had? That's an easy one to answer. Flipping none of them, because I avoid phone conversations like the plague. If you're going to talk to me, just text me. Like, unless it's for my business, I'm not answering the phone. Like, if someone's like, oh, can I call you up? No. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you on the phone. You won't get it if you don't have, like, phone anxiety, but I don't know why. I don't like it. And, like, my mom kind of makes fun of the way that I answer the phone, because I answer the phone like, hello? Seriously, I have to get a blood test on Thursday. I think, tomorrow. I made an appointment with the doctor, and unfortunately, I'm an idiot and didn't know you could just walk into blood tests. And I booked a whole appointment, and now I need to cancel my appointment, and that means I have to call them up, and I'm dreading it. Oh dear. Basically, I'm not dying. They just got to test if my, like, iron and vitamin D is back up to scratch, because last time it wasn't, and I've been on supplements for 3 months. But I'm dreading it, because last time they had to take it from both arms. They started over here, but I have, like, little itty bitty veins, so, like, halfway through taking the blood, it just went pss, 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 and I was like, oh, I'm dying. What is happening? Why is the air pumping out of my veins? And then they had to get the other side, and then I just had these 2 massive elbow bruises. And everything hurt for a little while, but what can you do? Telemarketers that speak in a foreign language? Yeah. Put yourself, like, on the do not call register. Then they can't, like, talk to you. Really helpful, really useful. All these questions suck. What's the most amount of people you had to present something in front of? Who cares? Who flipping cares? Why would you even want to ask that on a first date? Oh, boring. I swear if someone asked me that on a first date, I'd be like, what is wrong with you? Do you want to get to know me, or strange facts that no one gives half a darn about? But whatever. What's something that most people haven't done, but you have? The flip if I know. Thrown a jellyfish at my brother? I suppose most people haven't done that, but I genuinely don't know, because I don't go around asking people, hey, have you thrown a jellyfish at one of your siblings? No. Haven't asked anyone else that, so I very well could be in the majority. If you've thrown a jellyfish at a sibling, let me know in chat, because it perfectly well could be a thing that, like, many people have done. But who asks that kind of question? You're not answering that question? Fair enough. I'm gonna say then that you probably have thrown a jellyfish at someone, so good for you. But, like, what are brothers there for if you can't talk to them, really? If you opened a business, what type of business would you start? Already own a business. I'm a Disney princess, whoop-de-doo. You have thrown a jellyfish at a sibling. Well, there we go. Then throwing a jellyfish at a sibling isn't a weird thing. Probably most people have thrown a jellyfish at a sibling. I mean, poor jellyfish, but siblings deserve it, so let's be honest. What's the worst movie you've ever seen? I will tell you what the worst movie I've ever seen is. I don't remember what year it was, and frankly, I don't care to remember, but I do not like Jim Carrey, and I do not like Adam Sandler, and I avoid all their movies like the plague. Adam Sandler does have some good movies, which I will watch, like Blended was a good movie, you know, but most of his movies are hot garbage, and it's a bit traumatic, but I did sit through Jack and Jill. And while I don't remember the plot of that movie, I don't remember a single thing about it, all I remember is that movie was flipping awful. Will I ever watch it again? Abso-flipping-lutely not. I will not be going near that movie with a 29.5-foot pole. That is the worst movie I've ever watched, even though I do not remember it at all. The Star Wars Holiday Special. I'm also staying far away from that one because everyone complains about it, and I'm not here for it. I'm not here to just torture myself. But yeah, I have heard that movie is something else. That is something else. Let's see. Okay. This one is for you, chat, as well. What are people often surprised to learn about you? I think that's actually kind of an interesting question. So, what are people surprised to learn about you? Can I answer that myself? I'm not sure. Let me think. That's actually quite a difficult question. Well, if you first meet me, people are often surprised that I'm a bit of a massive nerd. But if you already know me, then you're not that surprised. I think people are surprised. Oh, this one might be interesting. People are surprised that I can't eat Asian food in general. Because I have an allergy to MSG. If you don't know what that is, it's monosodium glutamate. It is number 621, and it is in a lot of chips. It is in chicken salt, if you're from Australia and have that, because I don't think that's in any other country. And it's in a lot of Asian food. So I don't eat Asian food. And Chinese food especially. I eat Thai food sometimes because there's a Thai place near me that has no MSG, and I eat that sometimes. But especially Chinese food, because I've been so conditioned to know that danger, I cannot eat that. Even if I know there's no MSG in it, the smell of it still makes me gag. And I'm not trying to be rude. It's just like a knee-jerk reaction for danger. So a lot of people are surprised to find out, they're like, oh, do you like Chinese food? Do you want to go out for that? I'm like, absolutely, no, I can't. I also can't eat KFC because MSG is also in that as well. So I'd say people are most surprised about that. Chat, do you surprise people with anything? When you were a kid, what seemed like the best thing about being a grown-up? That is kind of a cute question. I think one of the best things I thought about being a grown-up was that I basically saw myself like a bit of a Barbie. Like, I wanted some strappy heels, but I also wanted Converse. And little me would be so, so proud of the amount of Converse I have now. And I have heels. Very cool. I basically just wanted shoes. I was a Barbie kid, and I was so excited to have my very own pair of like strappy heels. And so, yeah, I think that was one of the coolest things about being an adult, honestly. It's difficult to think of something surprising that others may actually find interesting. It's true. It was like a hard question to answer, so I totally get that. I'm a complete speed demon while being slow as a snail. Interesting. Interesting thought there. Very interesting. Ah. My fancy drink is gone. But that's alright, because I have a fancy meal. Wowee. What an excellent restaurant we're at. Okay. I shouldn't have picked Skittles. They take way too long to eat. Stupid on my part. We speak with a posh British accent, but you're actually Australian. You need to take a dump. Where's the toilet? Down the hall. You can also do a Scottish accent. That's pretty good. I used to do accents all the time, and I used to be really good at them. But I haven't done accents in flipping forever, and so I'm pretty sure I suck at them now. I haven't tried in ages, so, you know, maybe I'll get back into it one day. But, like, when I was at school, people would always be like, do your accents. But I also used to write a bunch of parodies at school, and that was one thing I was known for a little bit, especially in, like, year 10 music class. I'd always have people, like, saying, like, write another parody, write it about this. And when we have free lessons, we had, like, some people would play a certain pop song, and then other people would be like, okay, we're going to pick an item in the room, you have to sing a whole song about that. That was super fun. I kind of miss having so much free time in in school. Can I do impressions? I can flipping try. If you'd like me to do an impression, chuck it in chat. But, like, I can't promise anything. I can give it a red hot go, but, will it be any good? I don't know. Like, technically anyone can do impressions. If they're any good, that is the real question. And usually the answer is no. What is the most ridiculous thing you've done because you were bored? Ha! Make a list. Honestly, make a list. One of the most ridiculous things I did when I was bored was I made invisible ink and wrote things all over my body, and then when I shone an UV torch on it, you could see it. So I have a picture of my mum, like, and I had written die on my arm, and I just went. I didn't want my mother to die. It was just a joke. But I do when you're bored, you got to do a lot of weird stuff to just keep yourself sane. The crazier you are, the saner you are, honestly. You're mildly stuck for suggestions. Do you have anything that you think you could do well? I frankly have no clue, man. You're giving me a mental blank now too. So I don't know. I got nothing. We're good. Planking? I mean, that's just lying on the floor. Oh, when you're bored, yeah. What? Alright, here's another flipping dumb question from this site. What is your favourite brand name? Not necessarily your favourite brand, just one with a good name. If you're going to ask that question on a first date, you may as well leave because you're not an interesting person. I'm sorry, but if you get questions from a site like this and think it's a good idea to ask them, don't even bother going. Honestly, oh my goodness. I know it's a bit hypocritical because technically, I used this for this date, but we're going to ignore that and just... If you're on a first date, don't ask questions like, ooh, what's your favourite colour? What's your favourite brand? Ask questions like, have you stabbed someone? If so, would you stab me? Because I don't frankly feel like being stabbed. Easy. Then you know if they're a safe person or not. What type of question is that? I know. What type of question is that? How often do you dance? Silly/ironic dancing counts all the time. My brother gets annoyed at me sometimes because I just constantly dance and he thinks it's embarrassing. So that's fun. Oh, these questions are so dumb. Oh yeah, what's happening now that in 20 years people will look back and laugh about? Mullet culture. I don't know if it's happening in America as well, but in Australia, mullets are everywhere. I don't know why. They shouldn't be, but they are. What can you do about it? Not much. Not much. But here they are anyway. They're so awful. And like, everyone is getting a mullet. Put them away. Chop your hair. Stop being disgusting. Every time I see one, I'm like, you look like you haven't showered in a week. Go home. Where's your mother? She should tell you, you look like a fool. What's the worst or best job you've had? I mean, you guys can answer that too. I've only had one job, and that is being a Disney princess. But I did work retail for a single day. I'm not aware of mullets existing so prominently anywhere else globally. Yeah, we just get the short end of the stick with the mullet problem here. It's like an infestation. You need to get pest control out on them. But yeah, I worked retail for a single day in my life. And I'm thinking of applying to retail again, but at a different place, a different board game shop. Because I worked a single day at a board game shop. Because I like board games. Should be great, right? But this specific board game shop I worked at was a little dodgy. I did my trial day with the owner. And basically, I didn't end up working with him because during the day, he was like, are you hot? I said no. He said, you're wearing a jumper. I was like, yeah. And he said, you sure you're not hot? And I was like, no. And then he's like, do you want to take your jumper off? And I said, no. And he's like, are you wearing anything underneath? And I was so shocked at that question. I just was like, no. And like, technically I shouldn't have answered him. But I was just so shocked. I was like, no. Because it's like, it was just like a jumper shirt, you know? It wasn't like a hoodie that you'd wear over a t-shirt or anything. Like, it was a nice jumper. And I'm like, you could have stopped at the first, are you feeling hot at all? No. You could have just stopped there. You didn't have to be like, are you wearing anything underneath? Disgusting. Disgusting. So, that would probably be the worst job I had, even though I only worked there for one single day, for 4 hours. It's creepy as heck. Yeah, very creepy. I did cry when I went home because it was just a rough day. He spent the entire time just making me feel like garbage. Like, I have a headshot on my resume because most things I apply to I need a headshot because they need to know what I look like. So, like, being a Disney princess, for example, they need to know what you look like. Other things, they need to know what you look like. So I had a picture on there, right? And it's a picture where I have my hair up at a little, like, styly thing, whatever. And then he looks at me and he goes, your hair's different. And I was like, yes. And he goes, it's not like it was in the picture. I'm like, no, because it's down. And he's like, it's very unprofessional to have a picture and have people expecting it one way and not show up like that. And I'm like, what? Like, I can put my hair up if you really want, mate. Like, it's not that big of a difference. Calm yourself. Oh my goodness. What is your favorite food? My favorite food is honeycomb and meringues. I love some sugar, but if we're talking about food, I really like chicken chowder. It's like, if you don't know what that is, it's like chunky chicken soup. So it's like chicken soup, but it's got like big bits of chicken and potatoes and stuff. It is so good, especially in winter. My favorite. It's absolutely delicious. What is your favorite food? If you could instantly receive a PhD in any discipline, including all the knowledge that goes with it, what would your PhD be in? I was gonna make a joke, but then I'd have to give away my last name, and I don't feel as comfortable doing that yet. So there is a thing I'd pick because I think it would be really funny, because it would be the same as my last name. But we're gonna breeze over that question before I accidentally dox myself. Am I from the USA? I am not from the USA. I am from Australia. I live somewhere in the Sydney region of Australia. That's as close as I'm willing to go. Yeah. Where are you from? I don't have a lot of people assuming that I'm from the US, but I mean, would you rather have an incredibly fast car or incredibly fast internet speed? That's very easy, internet speed. Although I do like doing a bit of a skirt, internet speed is where it's at because I stream on my mobile data because when I use Wi-Fi, disgusting, doesn't work. So having an incredibly fast internet speed would be so much better. Plus, I do not want to be arrested. I don't want to be fined. I don't have time for that, nor the money. So, frankly, while a fast car would be excellent, internet speed would be where it's at. If you unexpectedly won $10,000, what would you spend it on? A down payment for a house, probably. I've never met an Australian who doesn't complain about internet. For the country that allegedly invented Wi-Fi, it doesn't work. You'd think we'd have better stuff, but oh my goodness. Are there dangerous animals in Australia? Yes, there are. We have like the most dangerous fish, the most dangerous spider, and the most dangerous snake. As well as drop bears. Very dangerous, very hard to combat. You got to very nice. Sorry, I look like I have antennas. Whoop. You've got to be really careful of the drop bears because if you're a tourist especially, they're coming for you. They will drop down from the trees, rip you to pieces. Not many people have come back alive from drop bear attacks. So, yes, we have quite a few dangerous animals. It's not even the snakes and spiders you have to worry about. It's mostly the drop bears. Oh yes, drop bears are menacing. Very menacing. They're probably the most dangerous thing to exist in this country. Ooh, I missed. We've got to be very careful of them. I tell you what's super overrated about first dates and things? Being all fancy. Sure, that's nice once in a while, but like, I feel like the best place to be is like when you get to the point where you can just like have a date where you just play the Switch or something. You have like a Mario Kart battle, or you just sit there and watch movies in pajamas or whatever. I think that's the best time of your life. But you gotta be all fancy. You gotta be like, here's some flowers. Do you love me? Waste of your time. Alright, I want to know this, chat. This is a question for you, so you have to answer. What is your guilty pleasure? What is something that you are super embarrassed about, but you love it anyway? You've got to tell me, because that's the rules of being on a first date. You have to answer the things, okay? I'd say my guilty pleasure is listening to, like, 2000s emo music. And 2000s music in general. I really unironically love 2000s music because it is so bad, it is so good. It is like such a peak of music because it is, it is dreadful. Especially, I love me some NSYNC. 2000 music is my guilty pleasure, that's for sure. Watching ASMR? Ooh, I cannot get into that. I'll tell you why. ASMR doesn't relax me. It makes me so flipping stressed. Like, oh my goodness. It makes me crawl. Like, if someone's whispering in my ear, I just get the heck away from me. I do not like it. I do not like it at all. Unless it's one of those things where, like, a car is driving over some pasta or something. I do like that. Soap cutting ones are cool. But if it's someone, like, coming up to the camera like, hello, how are you doing? And all that weird stuff, get the heck away from me. I do not like it at all. Although I feel like I could do it because, I mean, how hard is it to just go like, woo, at a camera, you know? And then you get paid heaps for just, like, tapping and whatever. You watch it anyway, yeah. I mean, if you enjoy it, that's great. I'm just saying that for me, it gives me heckin' anxiety and I want to run. You listen to country music and songs from 1960 to early 2000s. But I mean, that's not bad. Like, that's a pretty good time for music. As far as music goes, like, not a bad time for music. And people won't make fun of you for that kind of era. Country music, that's fine. I don't listen to much country music myself, but I mean, if you enjoy it, go off. Like, there's a huge country music scene, so like, good for you. I guess I did listen to like Carrie Underwood when I was like mid-teens, so I guess a bit of like country I've listened to, but not much. I've never been on a date with these kinds of gender ratios before. Welcome to the date. Have some flour. It's a bit of a crowded date, but you know, we can move past that. Country music is definitely acquired taste. That is true. I think it's really funny though because it's always like, I'm a country boy. I lost me wife or me girlfriend. She left me. And now I'm sad in a field. Doodly doo. Something like that. And as you can tell, don't listen to much country music, but that's kind of what I gather from country music, at least. I also listen to you also listen to movie soundtracks. That's pretty cool. Like in my Spotify like year in review, I had movie soundtracks, Broadway, and musicals as like 3 of my things, which are kind of like similar things. But I do love some soundtracks. I do. It's good. Especially like there are some movies with great soundtracks. But yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. You summarized 90% of country music? Thank you. I thought I did a pretty good... Why can't I no longer speak? My mouth doesn't work anymore. Summarized 90% of country music. Yes. I think I did an excellent job of that. If you listen to Bo Burnham, he did a good country song which was pretty funny. I enjoyed that one. You know, that's the one where it goes, that is a scarecrow. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll just be really confused. But, you know, it's good. It's fun. We went weird places. What's the most interesting fact you know? That's an interesting question. But I don't know many interesting facts. If you guys know interesting facts, let me know. But I feel like I know an interesting fact, but I don't know what it is. Which is super helpful. I know. But like, if you say anything with enough confidence, people will just believe you. So, if I go, alright guys, fun fact, owls actually have 3 legs. They just tuck the other one up inside them, like round the back, and they only use their leg when no one's watching, and they actually walk around like little stools. If you say it with enough confidence, you may get someone to believe you. So, take that fact as truth. It's impossible to hum while holding your nose. See, that is, I know that one. I know that that's not true. It's not true. I don't think I've tried it before. But I feel like it's just something to make you look dumb. And I'm not falling for it. I know what you're trying to do. I'm not there for that. Nah. Although, like... See? Now I just look dumb because I've done it. What can you do? It is not. There are so many things that I've fallen for before, which is why I know that they're not true. Another guilty pleasure is watching College Humor. I haven't, like, that used to be so big, like, years ago, but I haven't heard, like, they still do stuff, right? I don't even know. Like, when I was in, like, year 10 and 11, that was, like, a legit big thing. Is that still a big thing? Okay, well, my fact was wrong. I mean, like, I can't hum very well. But yeah. Do they have a skeleton crew now? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh. I went to have another sip, but it's all gone. Wait, does it drop? Oh dear. I just remembered that I haven't eaten breakfast. And for breakfast I had a Red Bull and 8 Skittles. Don't take health advice from me. Clearly I'm the epitome of health. So, you know, things are looking great for me. So, I'm done with these questions. They suck. Disgusting. Do you guys have any dumb questions for an awkward first date? Because, you know, it's all very important to get to know each other on a first date. Do you study or what do you do? I just finished a Bachelor of Ancient History. And I'm deciding on what I want to do for my Masters now. So that is what I technically currently do, but I just finished, so I'm in a bit of a not quite doing anything yet spot. Oh, someone said, you cannot lift your ring finger off the table, but you can lift the others. That's not true. Like, but I know you're supposed to do it like this. Still possible. You can go like boop, boop, boop. Not that hard. Whoop. My flowers. Gosh dang it. What's your favorite beach? My favorite beach is in Nelson Bay. Fingal is really nice. Little Beach is cute. I really like that one. But if you want a beach with waves, Fingal for sure. It's got lovely sand, great water. But if we're talking about not in Australia, like beaches in Hawaii are great because the water is always warm. Like Australian beaches are nice, but if I'm getting in the water, I like it to be like bath temperature. It needs to be nice and warm. Just really solid, really nice and warm, because I hate being cold. Being cold is disgusting, and I hate it so much. So much. It is horrible. So, thoughts, chat. What should my next stream be? Should it be like... Do you have any, like, ideas? I have a bunch of ideas. But if you want to know, like... If you have a specific stream you'd like to see, like an impression stream, another cosplay stream, like a body paint stream, let me know. Let me know what you guys actually want to see me do for next time. For swimming, Waikiki is really nice, but then it is a huge tourist spot, so very busy. I think there's a beach around the other side, which is really nice. I don't know, I'm new here. Fair. Yeah, for swimming, I think it's called, let me see. I think it's Chinaman's Hat Beach, which, you know, bit of a dodgy name, but it was super quiet. There was like no one there, and the water was really nice, from what I remember. So I think that's a really nice beach to swim at. If you're going to Australia to swim at a beach, again, I would suggest Nelson Bay, even though that's like 2 hours outside of Sydney. The beaches there are a lot better than Sydney beaches. Do not go to flipping Bondi. I know that that's the beach to go to. Like, oh, let's go to Bondi Beach. We're going to Australia. You got to go to the famous beach. Bondi sucks. So does like Cronulla and things. Don't go to those beaches. It's a waste of your time. If you want to go to actual beaches, go like up or down the coast. Stay away from Sydney beaches. Boring, okay? So, if you want to swim in flat places, yeah, surfing 1 mile's okay. Yeah, just go. Don't. That is my biggest advice for you. Stay far away from Bondi. It sucks. It's too crowded, and honestly, it's not even that good. Sorry to burst your bubble, but horrible. What about Balmoral? I'm pretty sure that's good. I've been there. It's alright. What a really cool beach is what is it? Boat Harbour? Boat Harbour in Nelson Bay is really cool. Not only in summer, it's fine in summer, right? But in winter, if you climb up the rocks, there is a rock where water splashes up and makes this huge thing. It's really cool, and you can sit on that rock. Be very careful though, because I almost slipped off the rock and fell onto the rocks below because I'm a little inept. But I didn't, and I'm still alive. So anyway, you sit on top of that rock in winter, and the water splashes up and looks amazing. But also, if you go there in the middle of winter, about July, you can see the whales migrating wherever they go off to. So you just watch these whales like jumping out of the water and moving along, and they're like big tails flapping about. So that is really cool. I think like that was like the first time I saw whales in the wild. And I mean, you can go on like whale watching cruises or whatever, but being able to just sit there on the beach and see them swim past is very cool. I think winter is like the best time to check out whales and stuff. Sounds great. It is great. It is great. It is 100% would recommend. Don't just go to the beach in summer. Go there in winter because it also rocks. Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, that's my advice. Whales migrate in winter, and it is excellent. Because that was like, whales were on my list of animals I wanted to see, like, in the wild. But now it's just, like, bears and fireflies and stuff. It's nuts to me that some people, like, live in places where you can just see bears wobbling themselves around places. Like, that is scary. They're so big. Honestly. Have you ever been to the Great Barrier Reef? I have not. Honestly, the Great Barrier Reef is kind of dying because of all the tourists. But I have been snorkeling at a reef before. Hanauma Bay in Hawaii. They have some cute stuff there. But I will say, the last time I went and snorkeled at Hanauma Bay, we saw this big eel, and it was swimming towards us, and my dad was swimming with us and my brothers, like my brothers and I, and to get away from the eel, they all turned around, and my dad accidentally knocked me in the face and pushed me towards the eel, so just gonna drag my father for that one. Still remind him of it to this day, like, oh yes, push me towards the danger, why don't you? But the actual Great Barrier Reef, have not been there. Don't know if I will go, just because it's such a tourist spot, which isn't, like, I'm not going somewhere just because it's a tourist spot, but it's like, I know that the reef is in quite a lot of danger at the moment, and a lot of it is dying because of, like, so many tourists being around. So, I'm gonna skip that one, I think. It doesn't need another person. Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. Has any of you guys been snorkeling in a reef before? Which is a bit funny because I did tell you that one of my fears was the ocean, but only water that I kind of can't see the bottom of. Which is interesting because I've always wanted to go like scuba diving, because my dad used to go scuba diving, and he would tell me all these stories about when he'd go scuba diving, and there's actually, like, near where I go to the beach, like, a couple of times a year, is a sunken boat. I don't know if... I think it's still there because I still see scuba divers there every now and again. But I've always wanted to, like, scuba dive on a shipwreck, but at the same time, I don't know how I'd cope with it, because I feel like I could also get down there and start panicking. I'm not sure, but I would love to scuba dive one day. But I think the scariest part of scuba diving is I've watched scuba diving videos because I've wanted to do it, and so I kind of live through YouTube videos like you do sometimes. So I was watching scuba diving videos, right? And I watched this one scuba diving video of a person who went into a boat and they were exploring the boat. It was all cool. But then they went into the boiler room of the boat. And they went into the boiler room and there, just chilling, was this, like, body. And, you know, body. He was just floating in there. And then, because of water currents and stuff when you're swimming around, it, like, pulls it behind him. So they just have this body floating around behind them when they're swimming through the ship. I would not like that. And as long as you can guarantee that there is nothing creepy in a shipwreck, I might be interested. A plane wreck could also be interesting, but again, dodgy spot for, like, fun things following you around. Don't want any of that. But, apart from that, scuba diving could be fun. I'm not sure. Still a little torn. But one thing I do know is that even if I was scuba diving, those, like, overhangs or drop-offs, like, you know, Finding Nemo, they're like the drop-off. Oh, I do not like that. Where you can see everything's nice and then suddenly just nothing. Oh, that is horrible. I don't like that. Absolutely disgusting. If you're not scared of the ocean at all, you're probably like, wimp. But something about that just drop off into absolute nothingness and you can't see it just freaks me out. Like, and I don't even, it's not even the things that are in there. Like, I know what's in there. It's the stupid little fish with the lights on their head. Woo! But, like, it's just the nothingness that kind of scares me. There are people who do scuba dives through massive caves and tight tunnels. I know. I don't have trouble with heights exactly. No. Terrestrial heights? What is that? I feel like I'm dumb now. Is that like space? I'm not sure. Space doesn't freak me out that much, I don't think. But I feel like if I was floating away, I'd have an issue. I'd have an issue there. Oh, thank you so much for following. Welcome to the stream. Does not sound like a fun experience. No. No, it doesn't. Cave systems in the water does sound like a flipping creepy experience. I don't think I'd like that at all. Cliff. Buildings. Yeah, I'm not scared of heights. I'm scared of ladders, but not heights. Because I'm scared that my leg will slip through a rung and snap in half. Because blood doesn't freak me out, but bones sure do. And oh, just like, I did like a course in school on like sports science, and we had to watch videos and then be like, write it down which injury a person received. So we'd have to be like, you know, we just analyze videos of people getting injured and write down what kind of injury they received. And there was one, a guy got his neck sliced with an ice skate. Not an issue. But if I see, like, this bit flopping the way it's not supposed to, oh, something about that just highly disturbs me and makes me feel ill. Just so bad. So that's why I don't like ladders at all. Because if my leg slips through and flipping snaps in half, oh, nasty. Nasty. But, like, I do rock climbing, and the heights don't bother me at all. I know that, like, I'll bring my dad along sometimes, and he, like, doesn't climb the walls. He just refuses. They're not even that high. Like, chill, man. Yeah, the only thing that freaks me out is being able to snap my legs. Sorry if that grosses you out. It certainly grossed me out. Yeah. I also don't like cave systems. There's no part of me that ever wants to go splunking, underwater or not. I watched a few videos just a couple of days ago of people exploring the hellhole. You know, if you haven't seen it, look up videos of the hellhole. It is like a cave system that people go down. It's 7 meters deep. There are so many tight spaces that people like squeeze through. It is so disgusting. Why people want to go in there, I don't know. But if I went down a cave, I would have a panic attack. Why is this girl holding a cabbage? It's not a cabbage. It's a bunch of fake roses because we're on a date here. It is cute. And I'm trying to have a nice gesture and you're just bullying me, okay? I'll put them more this way, then you can see they're actually flowers. How about that? They're, you know, good stuff. Can I ask you a relationship question since you're a girl? Yeah, absolutely. Do it. I don't mind. Ask me all the questions. I'm a fountain of knowledge and extremely, extremely smart on all of the relationship questions. Yes. When I came to this world, I came out of a hellhole. Makes sense. I've seen birthing videos. And yes. What's for dinner? Skittles and Red Bull. Yes, that is what we had. I had Red Bull and this, and I had Skittles. But technically not dinner. It was breakfast. Because it is 11:44 in the morning. So we're doing well. We're doing really well, guys. We're doing really well. But also, have you seen, like, there is one cave underwater where they have this sign that's like, if you go in here, you're definitely gonna die. Don't go in here. I get thrill-seeking. But if you want to get some thrills, go on a roller coaster. Don't get yourself stuck in a cave. Oh. Terrible idea. Why do you want to do that to yourself? Like, oh my goodness. Like, if you get stuck, where are you going to go? You're just going to rot there. And then the next person that goes up is just, oh, no. Not for me. Roll up some Skittles. Why do I get the vibe she only one drink away from calling her? That would be a little difficult to do. Hey. Yeah. The last guy I dated, right? My Facebook got deleted, and I added him back to be a nice person, and he accepted my friend request just to unfriend me, and I was like, alright, child, I see how it is. Doritos and animal crackers are good too. Oh yeah. I like Doritos. I've had animal crackers only once, because being in Australia, we don't have them here. But I do know from the smell at Disneyland, because there's a ride in like Bugs World, which I know is gone or going now because of Marvel, which is kind of cool because I can't wait to see what they do with that. But they had one where there was like the smell of animal crackers blowing around, and they smelt real good. So I'd assume animal crackers are good, but I don't remember what they taste like. So my girlfriend went to this party and she said she didn't want to go. There's a guy there who likes her. I want to go pick her up because, like, anxiety. But I don't want to, like, bother her. I mean, if someone is uncomfortable, you're not bothering them. But if she's not uncomfortable and she's okay, leave her, you know? I, myself, am a very anxious person. So I'd say if the person at the party is uncomfortable, chill. But if, like, there's always going to be someone that is into someone. You can't stop that. Like, if you're dating someone, they probably have someone else that's into them. But, like, as long as they're with you, doesn't matter because they've already chosen you. And if they're dodgy, that's not you, honey. That's them. You unfriended him first when you deleted your account. I didn't! Facebook deleted my account because they thought I was a danger to society. I just got a message one day saying, your account has been terminated. this decision can't be removed. You violated terms of service. And I'm like, flipping where? I've done nothing. I haven't posted in like months. So, you know, I'm an absolute charlatan. You can't stop me. I should be arrested, frankly. You're a danger. I am. Why does round pizza come in square box? Because cylinder boxes are complex shapes. Fair. But you know what? Pizzas should be square. Why not? This girl is Jason Bourne. It's true. I have a secret double life. I'm, actually a well-trained spy assassin. So watch yourself, because I will come for you, and if I do, you're in strife, man. I hope you're really intimidated, okay? If you're not, I try my best. Square pizza is unnatural? Yeah, but like, think about it this way, right? Square pizza, really good. You know what, people, when they get too full and stuff, or like the kind of gross part of the pizza, which is not that bad, is the crust. Sometimes people leave the crust of the pizza, but if you have a square pizza, you only have so much crust. I feel like someone's at my door, but... You get like middle pieces with no crust. That would be cool. Alright. At least spell it right. Hold on. What am I holding on for? I'm curious now. Who's your date? You are my date. Twitch chat is my date. I'm taking Twitch chat on a date. It's very cute. It's going okay, I think. I don't know. I've already had some people come into my Twitch chat like, I've never been on a date. So for some people, this is their first ever date, and for that, I am sorry. But, you know, what can you do? How's it going? Just stopping by because Joe sent me. Oh, I'm not going to answer that. I know you're going to say, oh, who's Joe? Joe Mama. I got it. Haha. Can't get me. I've already been gotten with that before, okay? What do you call a bear with no teeth? A bear with no teeth? A bear? Is that correct? I'm not sure. I feel like that might be correct, but I'm... Let me see. A new level of desperate? Fair. Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the stream. I'll leave. Before I go, Mike said hi. I know this one too. I'm pretty sure the full name of this person you're referencing would be Mr. Michael Hunter or Hunt. But I'm not. I'm not saying that, man. A gummy bear. Oh, okay. That makes sense. I get it. I get it. I would never have gotten there on my own. So am I supposed to make you smile? I mean, if you like. Nope. This is perhaps the weirdest date I've been on. When was the last time you said bogan? Probably like January. But I use Yobo a little more. Because I know that like Australia Day, the bogans come out. So that's probably when I last used it. Like the 26th of January. Because that is when they all congregate on the beach and bogan themselves around and like run around with flags and like, woo! All that good stuff. But yeah. I'm I'm out. Have a beautiful day. You too. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. What is 4 letters? A bunch of things. Cart. Rats. Hats. Cats. Tree. A bunch of things. No way. I meant, what did you mean? I'm excited to find out what this is. What is... Oh, what? The word what? Haha. Haha. Twitch chat always finds a new way to make me look dumb, man. Every time I stream, there's always a new way to make me look dumb. You got me this time. Next time I'll be smart. I went Christmas dress shopping yesterday, and it was pretty good. I had a good time, and because it didn't take all that long. I did get a Boost juice though. Is Boost a thing in America? I don't know. But if it is, you should get a Jingleberry Crush. It's delicious. It's got guava juice in it, and I love guava. It is the most delicious fruit, even though I've never had an actual guava. I've only had guava juices, but... How many wigs do you own? Last time I counted, it was 36, but I've gotten, like, I think 2 more since then, and I'm pretty sure some people are gonna get me some for Christmas. So I'm gonna say, by the time Christmas is over, I'll have over 40, but I use them all, so they're not wasting time. But I have a lot of wigs. I've been saying I have like 40 for a while, but then I counted and I only had like 36, and I was like, wow, my life is a lie. I've been lying to everyone, so I'm really sorry for deceiving you all. Wear all your wigs at once? That's not a bad stream idea. I mean, I certainly would skip out on doing my ones that actually live in my wardrobe because they're my styled wigs. They take so flipping long. Because I use them for my business, they're like my princess wigs. But the ones that are like flat packed in a massive box, I'd wear them all at once for sure. That would be like 30 wigs. I think that would be an excellent thing. Oh. Way too many wigs. I've always wanted to wear a wig like for real. Like actually go out and, you know, go to the shops with like a wig on. But then I've always like chickened out at the last minute. Short is actually longer than long. Am I too dumb to understand what that means? I do not get that. I'm gonna brush past it because I just feel ridiculous. Oh, I get it. You get it? I don't get it. Oh. I said I had to be smarter next time, and I was not. I disappointed you all. Oh, sorry, smacked me. There are sequins everywhere from my stupid Jessica Rabbit dress. Ugh, disgusting. Okay, how often do you have to touch up... How often do you have to touch up your work wigs? I do that... It really depends. Whenever they're getting messy. So it can be like you know, 4 parties. Some of them you can do like 8 parties. It really just depends, because if it's like a windy day, it messes them up more than usual. So like it really depends. But after a couple of uses, and they all take like a couple of hours, and I use a piece of dowel just tied to the end of my bed to stick a wig head on. But I have some intel that I might be getting an actual styling tripod for Christmas. So thank flipping goodness for that. You joined the Discord? Oh, PogChamp. I'm still not used to saying that. You know, I'll get right into the Twitch lingo soon. I still feel awkward saying like, oh, poggers. The arms might not help. Who got you the roses? I got these myself from Kmart. They're about like $5. And they've been living under my bed for a while now. Yeah. So they're just a nice little prop currently. So, you know, like pretend date. Oh, I brought flowers. Which everyone thinks is a cabbage apparently. So, you know, doing fantastically. Oh. Sitting on my floor is slightly uncomfortable, not gonna lie. I opted for a different background than usual. Usually I'd be sitting, you know, on the office chair and doing my usual stuff, but I tried to make it somewhat look like we were sitting at a table. Even though this is like a table I use for sewing, and I'm this far off the ground, I'm just sitting on cross-legged on my floor. So my knees hurt a little bit. Yeah, letting you into the fact that I'm not, in fact, very planned out with this whole pretend date thing. Oh, sorry, I'm just stretching. Okay. We're gonna get back to it. They are sweet, just not as sweet as you. Oh, dang. You're doing well on this first date, friend. Very nice, very nice. You know what else is sweet? Flipping Skittles, which I shouldn't have eaten for breakfast because now my throat hurts. Just a little. Ugh. Oh dear. I also didn't sleep well, and it could perhaps be because I did drink a Red Bull last night as well. I should really hold off on that. But like, live while you're young, right? As long as my metabolism's still working, I may as well pump my body full of sugar. Do I have a slight sugar addiction? Maybe. Is it hurting me? Maybe. Do I care? No. So, chat, real talk this time. You can't lie to me. You have to answer this very honestly. Apart from this date right now, when was the last time you went on a date? For me, couple of months. And before that, couple of years. I'm not lonely, I'm fine. Okay. Are you streaming on Christmas? I'll show Santa what I want for Christmas. I'm not going to stream on Christmas Day because I'm very busy on Christmas Day, but I may stream like Boxing Day or the day after Boxing Day. Because, you know, everyone's busy on Christmas, so I'm not going to stream like on Christmas, but I'll stream like around Christmas. Are we going to count this stream? You can count this stream. It's fine. I know that some people, not at all. And that's fine. Now you can say you technically have. Even though a bunch of other people were there too. But just ignore that. No one needs to know. No one needs to know. Just a pickup line. Sorry. Thank you. Very pickup line. Wait, very pickup line? Very pickup line. Apparently I can't speak English anymore. Oh well, what can you do? Happy holidays to you and your family. Thank you, Ralph. How are you? Happy holidays to you. I hope you are looking forward to the lead up to Christmas. I certainly am. You've never been on a date? Well, now you have, my friend. I just hope you're not underage, because now I'm going to be arrested, right? And I didn't have time for that. What a waste of my time. Who has time to be arrested? Not me. Oh. My poor throat. Hurts a little bit. I'm just checking my Discord, so welcome to my Discord if you just joined. No, I'm 20. I got a crush though. Ooh! Get in! I'm 20 as well. Almost 21. 4 days. 4 days. It's gonna be cute. I have like a cute background because I want to do a birthday stream. So, I've been getting some of that so we can do a cute little birthday stream. I want to do some like games, but I'm not sure what to do yet. Like, I might try Pin the Tail on the Donkey because I don't think I've ever actually played it for real. So I'm gonna try that. But yeah, you're almost 21 too. Nice. I always get super sad around my birthday. It's a bit depressing, honestly. But like when I was a kid, I'd cry every year the day before my birthday. It's never been a thing that I've liked that much. I'm not, like, excited to be old. Like, aging is scary. I don't want to be an adult and have responsibilities and have to understand what bills and things do. Like, 21 is quite a milestone. You're 21. It is. And I don't want to be a real adult yet. My grandmother said to me last year, when I turned 20, my grandmother went to me and she said, I was married by your age. And now, turning 21, my mum was married by that age. Am I a failure? No. I just focus on my studies. But my grandmother still makes remarks like, I had a kid by your age and stuff like that. Yes? Well, I am a kid. But it is a different world. It's a different world. Are you also in college? Yeah. I have just done my 3-year undergrad doing ancient history, and I'm looking into my master's now, so it's going to be like another year. And then I have to be an actual adult and do actual adult things. Like paying off HECS debt. Which, you know how expensive a master's is? Like $2,600. No, not $100,000. $26,000. I could buy a pretty dodgy car for that much. I'm studying translation. Ooh. That's cool, but also sounds like it could be pretty darn difficult. Like, ooh. Like, that's got a lot to do with languages and stuff, right? Like, I feel like that could be super tedious. Like, when I was doing ancient languages, we did Greek and Latin, and we'd be given these huge texts that we have to translate. And, because not every language is structured like English, and you kind of have to work, like, you gotta get the words and then arrange them. It's such a trial. Good luck with your remaining studies at uni. Thank you. I hope things go well. Although ideally, it would be nice if I didn't have to, like, work full time for the rest of my life, but have to happen. We'll see. Translation in TV channels. Ooh. That's cool. But, like, I feel like that would be stressful. Because you can get it wrong. If you guys know, like, CMS, it's Church Missionary Society. They have a conference, and I am a bit of a tech person, right? Looking at me, you probably wouldn't think that, because tech people are mostly sweaty boys. And it's true, most of them are. But, I do tech stuff, and I do graphics for, missionary talks when they come back from, like, countries and talk about how they've been helping the people out and stuff. And I put people's names up and, put up dot points and stuff. And that is sometimes stressful because I have misspelt people's names before, and then people come running into the room like, what have you done? Because that is also broadcasted live. So that is fun. Never seen a tech person this sweet. Thank you. I also do camera work, which is a lot easier, but not a lot easier. Well, it is, because when you do graphics and having to make people's names pop up at the right time, you have to constantly be paying attention, and I hate paying attention. My mind just wanders off all the time, and having to, like, keep focus on this one thing and making sure I don't mess up can be a bit difficult. So camera work is fun. But, yeah. My mum is cool, because this is how I actually got into, like, doing tech stuff, is, she does, like, vision control for the live stream stuff, and for cameras broadcasting. So she, like, switches in between cameras, makes sure everything pops up on time, which is really cool. And I wish I could do that. But, again, way too much paying attention, and I would mess it up so easily. Yeah, that was, like, a job that I was considering doing. So, as well as studying history, which I found really interesting, I thought, like, I also looked into going to, like, film school to be, like, a camera person or some kind of thing. But I ended up studying history. But I, like, got brochures and stuff for film schools because tech stuff really interested me. But, you know, I ended up doing history, and I kind of hate it, and I don't want to write essays for the rest of my life, so I'm figuring out exactly what I'm going to be doing next. Have to go, get ready to sleep, have an early shift tomorrow, see you next time. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you sleep really well and that your shift goes really well, so thank you, bye. Oh, I've been live for 2 hours, 12 minutes and 28 seconds. Wowee. I set that up recently, and I was super proud of myself, because I was like, I want an uptime thing. And, so now there's a command that does it, as well as a thing that pops up every now and again telling me how long I've been live for, which is, you know, I feel smart for doing that. Proud of myself. It's only taken me like a month to be able to get commands and stuff and timers working. And I added a bunch of new fun stuff. So, like, you can hug people now. And there was another fun one, but I don't remember what it is. Let me see. I spent ages, like, looking up commands and stuff, and just adding them, because I was like, this is fun, let's put things in. I once interpreted a doctor-patient meeting between a German and English, and it went well. Ooh! That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Is it just, like, how many languages do you have to know for that? Because I feel like to be a translator person, do you, like, have a specialty language that you do? Or do you have to know, like, 2 or 3 languages? Because I feel like that is intense. And I've always wanted to be, like, bilingual, because bilingual people are the coolest. Being able to speak multiple languages is just amazing. And I'm really jealous, but, like... Yeah, I do. Let me see. Oh, yeah. I have follow age as well, which is a cool one. Yeah, I Okay, this one's cool. I stayed up till like 1 doing some dumb commands. You need to master 2 languages perfectly and know 4 at least. Dang. That is intense. That is so many. So what languages did you do? You know 3 so far? That is insane. Like I feel like that is a lot of work. But like, good on you, because having studied languages before, it is a lot of work. It is intense. Dang. So I did like French in school, as well as Mandarin in school. I still remember bits of French. I remember like nothing of Mandarin. And then in uni I did Latin, which I don't remember much of at all. I hated it. And ancient Greek, well, like classical Greek. So not super useful. Nothing like modern Greek. So I am pretty useless. But English, that one is probably a bit iffy as well, because even though I speak it, I just like, bleh, I word vomit all the time. Well. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm sorry. I have a Red Bull, and I was still exhausted. Ugh. Alright. Well, I'd say that this date was pretty darn successful. I hope you feel the same way too. I am just a little bit exhausted and honestly getting a bit boring. So I will be back maybe tomorrow. Maybe in 2 days. I'm not sure. Wait, I have to get a blood test tomorrow. So maybe not tomorrow. But yes, I'll be back streaming soon. And because we reached our community goal, last night we reached our community goal. So I will be making a streaming schedule very soon. So keep an eye out for that one. I have not quite decided what my streaming schedule is going to be yet. So we'll think about it. So we're gonna raid someone now. But before, I'm just gonna do a bit of an outro. Like, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Excellent. So if I wanna, I'm gonna edit this and put it on YouTube and stuff. Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the stream. I'm sorry that I am boring and leaving. Thank you so much for the bits. Zach your boyfriend / Zach your BF. I'm so sorry things aren't popping up. I am currently working with Streamlabs IT because it's not working for me and I'm really struggling, and things usually pop up on the screen, but they're not at the moment. So I am thanking you, but I'm sorry that it hasn't popped up. But thank you so much for the bits. Okay, so like, not many people I'm following are alive, so I'm gonna chuck on a bunch of random letters. So, let me see. Does anyone have a particular game you want me to raid? We're gonna go here. Alright. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. Keep an eye out on my Discord mostly, but as well as other places to know when I'm streaming next. And I will see you guys very, very soon.